welcome to another episode of In the Closet with Amy Goodhart. I'm back in my closet with such a special guest. I have to say, before even introducing this person, inspiration for even doing my channel and doing these videos and interviewing people and artists and everyone. I pick my guests because of who inspires me and people who are open and tell it like it is and say what's on their mind. And this is my brother, Victor Bonacore.
Howdy. Hi, Amy.
Hi, sweetheart. And you're in Ohio.
Oh yeah, good old Dayton, Ohio.
Do you live near Dave Chappelle?
Actually, I actually work in the town where he lives. Yeah.
Well, I'm in LA and I am such a wuss now because if it's below 60 degrees, I'm like, it's freezing cold. I'm like, I've lived here almost 9 years. But
yeah, it's cold today. It was like warm last week in Ohio, and then it just switched. It was like this weekend it got cold, started snowing. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. But it's cold, and I don't really go out much anymore in the cold. I'll be homebody in the winter.
I love your shirt. Oh my goodness. So we're here. I mean, in the closet, it's talking about things that are taboo, things that are stigmas, things that are secret, things that are forbidden, and kind of setting the record straight. And something that I am passionate about talking about is mental health without the stigma. And you and I talked about, the correlation or the, I would say, the relationship between artists and even specifically filmmakers and people in film and who work as actors and whatnot, and OCD. And you and I both agree that it's kind of this disorder that people just throw out all the time. Oh, my salt shaker. Oh, I have OCD. But without actually knowing what it is and or what it is to live with it or to experience it. Some people had it when they were younger and grew out of it. Some people have had help with it. I'm a huge therapy fan. You're a fan of therapy?
Oh yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Took a while.
I think everybody should be in therapy.
Everyone should be in therapy.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Some sort,
But yeah, like when you hear people throw out the term OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and use it as like a kind of a throwaway, like an excuse for anything quirky, what does that make you think of? What do you think?
Yeah, it's one of those things you just hear a lot, like, oh God, it's my OCD. But I'm not bothered by that as much. I'm not really bothered by it. It's just kind of like, I was diagnosed with OCD when I was younger, and it was like crippling as a kid. It was like took up a lot of my time, I would say. I've gotten a lot pretty much under control now. I think I diverted it more into doing stuff with film and becoming somewhat of a perfectionist with things and editing. Definitely see it come out when I'm editing, like a video. Now, I get very OCD about something. It's like even if I know the answer to something, I have to do it a certain way. It's weird. But as a kid, it was really cool. Yeah, it was kind of crippling. I'd have these rituals and shit that I'd have to do every night before I went to bed, mainly.
I want to kind of talk about the different elements, I guess, of it. And I mean, you said that you were diagnosed with it, but I mean, we just so our friends and the audience here knows, Victor and I are brother and sister. We have the same dad, different mom, and we only lived together for a few little times growing up, really a couple of years as a teenager. And Victor was young and I would dress him up in high heels.
Yeah. Yeah. You sneak me to watch Rocky Horror.
I would take my
dad definitely didn't want that to happen. Yeah.
I would take my brother to go watch every horror movie and at everything. But
Which I'm
so
thankful for.
yeah, and I'm so proud of you, like of everything. Like your work's incredible. And what you've done with your life. But so talking about OCD, it's kind of, the obsessive part of it. A lot of people have been kind of breaking down that stigma, or coming out about it. There's actors like Leonardo DiCaprio played Howard Hughes in The Aviator, who had OCD, but he spoke about DiCaprio spoke about when he was a kid, he had ritualistic, obsessive compulsive, where he would have to like step on the cracks or on gum on sidewalks.
Oh, wow.
Billy Bob Thornton came out about having OCD. His was actually interestingly like very mathematical based, where he had to associate certain numbers with certain identities.
Yeah.
Super interesting. People like Cameron Diaz, successful actress, she would clean things until the paint came off the walls.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore is another actress that has come forward about phases in her life where she would have to walk a certain pace every day and get to the end of the sidewalk right as the stoplight said walk, and then she would go, and she had certain things. Of course, everyone, kind of in the OCD community or whatnot, looked at Howie Mandel, the
Yeah.
comedian,
Yeah. He was a big one.
as
Yeah.
a huge one, because he kind of outed himself on the Howard Stern show. And his
Oh.
OCD was definitely, I would say, more severe than other actors or comedians or people in film that I had ever heard about, and how he's come out about it, which I just think is so awesome and so cool of him to just, do interviews, talk about it. So, I mean, it's a lot of people have it, and there's so many different levels and phases of it, I guess, and different types. And the obsessive part, starting with like, the direction, the voice in the head, we'll call it, or the impulse that just comes, and the compulsion being the action to take to make that impulse, feel better or be okay or go away. And like, do you think our dad had OCD?
He could have. He could have definitely had it in ways I never saw it, but that is something that you can kind of hide, I think. I like didn't hide it from my family, but like I don't know. I don't know if dad would have had it.
I feel like he had like little quirks though, like isms. Like if a picture frame was crooked, he had to go fix it. I mean, even if I remember being in a restaurant as a kid, and dad actually like went up and like corrected the picture frame that was on the wall. Well, our dad would,
that bothered me too. Like on things unsymmetrical bothers me. Like
yeah, our dad didn't give a fuck. It could have been OCD. It could have just been his way of not giving a fuck and just being like, wait,
yeah, right.
I
What are you
need to
doing?
fix this picture frame. He
Yeah.
also ironed his jeans.
He ironed his jeans. He was meticulous about his lawn. Yeah, there were a lot of things, but yeah. But you never know. You never got diagnosed, went in for that kind of shit. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think he might have just been neurotic and just that might have even been the military influence, like the
Yeah.
Marine, like everything had to be kind of. I think that's what the ironing of the jeans was. It's very great.
Yeah.
Narrow,
Our dad was
perfect.
a Marine.
You wanted a fork and knife on the right side of the plate, and if you didn't, it was rude. He was very.
He was. He was a perfectionist about I see a lot of things in myself when it comes to being I don't call myself a perfectionist, but being detail oriented with my work as a costume designer, like my art, like everything has to be perfect before it's seen and shown. And I don't like when people look at like work in progress. And our dad was a lot like that with his photography. He was a photographer. Um, but let's talk about your experiences with OCD as a kid and as an artistic, You were always creative. Always. Victor was making movies when he was like 5.
Maybe
Oh,
plan out when I was.
he was
I think I
always
got my first
directing.
camera when I was, I think 11. I got my
Yeah.
first 10 or 11, something like that, for like a Christmas or something. But we did shoot stuff on like my aunt's cameras when we were young and my friends' cameras. We were always shooting something, stuff that's like lost. I like wrote some kid on Facebook that I was friends with. I haven't talked to him in like 20 years, easily. I'm like, hey, remember that time we had a sleepover? We shot like a monster movie in your basement. I was wearing a mask. I mean, I got zero, no reply at all. I'm
Yeah.
like, they're like, what the fuck is this kid talking about? But I remember that and watching a Betamax of Garbage Pail Kids at his
Oh
house.
my gosh, I watched it with you.
Yeah, I love that movie so much. Yeah, grew up loving it. But yeah, being a kid, it was a weird thing, just like rituals I felt like I had to do every night or I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. Like I had to wash my hands a certain amount of time. I used to have to jump from like the bathroom to my bedroom without hitting the ground, and I had to get into bed without touching anything. And then I started like working out when I was younger, and I remember I had to do a certain amount of push-ups and sit-ups. And like if I fell asleep in the middle of the night, like before I did that, I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night and do them.
I
Shit
remember
like that.
I remember the sit-ups
Yeah.
ritual.
And it
I was
almost
like,
gave
damn, not to say I wish I had that, but you know, like,
well, it became a
you
point
know
to
what I
me. Yeah, like I wasn't really even doing them like full. I think it was just like the number count.
mean?
Like I wasn't really doing 150 crunches. I was maybe doing 10 and then just like one, two, three, four, five, six, like doing like
It was the counting.
it was the counting and that's like that mathematical thing you were talking about. Like, um, yeah, it's you count. I remember counting a lot. I still do that kind of shit. I go to a movie. I feel like I have to count a certain amount of times when I sit down. It's just weird shit that you don't even think about you're doing anymore. But as a kid, it was so apparent and I was embarrassed of it.
Mm.
And I remember going to school and then we had a health class. I'll never forget this. Early, like seventh or eighth grade. And I remember watching a video on disorders. And I remember OCD being on there. And it was the dude from not SummerSlam, Double Dare, like the Nickelodeon show. And it was that guy, the host, Mark Summers, on there talking about how he had a really crazy OCD. And
Wow.
he's on a show with like slime and stuff. And he was really meticulous. And he would say how he used to line up his carpet in his living room and make sure every like fringe on it was like straight. Like he was like so obsessed with that. I remember seeing that and be like, whoa, okay, I think this is what I have because I wasn't super like, out
Yeah.
about whatever, and I think and then we got checked out and they were like, you have some kind of form of OCD, but I never took any medicine for it or anything. I just kind of lived with it. And as I got older, just kind of learned how to deal with it differently, I think. And
Yeah. I
um,
remember I remember like the sit up phase, but I remember like you had to it was either touch the wall or turn the light switch on and off. Do you
oh
remember
yeah.
that? You had like a light,
Oh
was it a
yeah.
light switch?
That sounds right. I remember there's a light switch and I
It
had
was a
like a
light
certain
switch or you had to like hit the wall or like touch the wall.
something like that. I had a poster on the wall. Yeah, no, it was weird.
Yeah.
And I hated it. And sometimes I get so frustrated because I just wanted to go to bed and I would work myself up and I would like make myself think I didn't do it correctly. And
Mm.
that's what I mean like when I feel say it was like what's the word I said before? Like you just felt like you didn't have full control and that sucked. And I would get frustrated and stuff. And then yeah, and I remember that was like junior high. She was bad, like seventh, eighth, ninth, maybe a little grade, something like that. Maybe even a little younger than that. And then I guess I got to high school and I just tried really hard to work on it. I guess
Mhm.
use it in other ways and stuff. And but I still feel like I do it. Like I know when I drive down the road, sometimes I'm like I have to read that entire sign. And
Oh,
if I
really?
don't read that sign, something bad's gonna happen. And then it's got to train yourself. Go, that's fucking ridiculous. So you just gotta, but I'll still have to read the whole sign or tell myself I have to. it's weird. It's like a weird compulsion to like
Yeah.
have to, read stuff or add stuff up or keep stuff symmetrical. And yeah, and I think
What is the like relief part feel like? Like when you have the obsession and you need the compulsion, you need to actually act on it. What does that feel like? Like when you complete whatever that task is? Like do you feel I'm trying to understand
like what the relief is when you've like completed something and like, okay,
right.
I think it's like, it's definitely like in the long in the big picture, it doesn't mean anything, right? And that's where you
Right.
got to take yourself. But you, in that moment, you feel like you have to do this for whatever reason, add this up or fix this or make it straight. I don't know. The relief is almost like, I don't know. Like I've never been a big video game person, but I think like if someone's playing a video game, they win a race in a game. It doesn't really mean shit. You're just playing a video game, right, against a
Right.
computer.
You like get
Doesn't
to the
mean
next
anything.
level or whatever.
But yeah, but you all right, you did it. I kind of feel like that. Like it's like, all right, what I did was I did it, whatever it was, and now I feel a little bit better. Um yeah, and sometimes it inhibits it like that's not the word. It just like it's like a crutch. And like I said, it's not as bad anymore, but I think sometimes when I'm stressed out, maybe my brain starts going like and you're fucking, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta move that a
Mm-hmm.
specific way. And yeah, and I think I just when I edit a lot now. So I think when I'm video editing, I think a lot of it goes into that.
That's so
So
great.
yeah, yeah. So that I'm grateful for. Like, I don't notice it as much anymore. Sometimes I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, but it's really gotten so much better over time.
Oh
Really
yeah,
has.
totally different. Like I mean, how I remembered, you know, when in you were saying like junior high, and I remembered when it was like kind of at its most,
Yeah.
and and like I felt bad because of just seeing somebody that you love like having lack of control. Like I
Mm.
knew that you were not in control of it at a certain point. But then I've watched you now, like, just, grow into this like incredible artist, filmmaker, dad, like everything. Like you have your shit together. And you channeled that into filmmaking. I mean, I think and like you said, like into editing, and I mean into making films in general. Um, I'm sure the discipline somehow is connected to that. Just having discipline, because it takes a lot of discipline to make movies, and um,
Yeah.
you know,
It sure
it's almost
does.
like OCD trained you with discipline, and
Yeah,
uh,
maybe
you know,
yeah, like maybe you have to channel it some way, and like that's a good
yeah,
way to channel it, I guess, because you have to be meticulous and I can be like a lot of times when making a movie, it's kind of organized chaos, it's somewhat organized, but my handwriting's terrible, so I have all these notes and they're all over the place, and but like yeah, I noticed things too with like OCD with like I think this is what this is. But like, I have all these notes all over the place. Like the movie's done, the movie's shot. But I still have like these random notes that are like from the movie, from a set, just written crazy. And then on the back, and then side things and stuff. Like I have no use for them. I need to get rid of them. Sometimes I can't. Like I know I'll get rid of it in like a week, but I have to keep it for X amount of time, and then I
mm,
can get rid of it. Like it's weird. It's like you give purpose to like inanimate things, and I've had to downsize my house, and I've had to get rid of a lot of shit, and that was hard. And
yeah,
a lot of it's sentimental, but I think it is like I have to keep this for some reason, even though I have
yeah,
no use for it. It's hard. So that's maybe that has something to do with the OCD. Having like feeling like it hasn't run its course yet. Like I need this here for now, and in a week I can get rid of it. Yeah, does that make any sense? Or is that too bonkers?
no, I don't think it's
Like,
bonkers. No, not at all. Yeah, I hold
uh,
on to things too. I mean, I hold on to things, and then I don't know, sometimes like I understand what you're talking about with the I don't have OCD, but when you talk about the like giving an inanimate object like a certain amount of power or
Yeah.
importance, like a note or something like that, um, I kind of understand that.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's like, even though I know, like, I gotta get rid of that thing. Like, I don't need that. It's just taking up space. Like, you still do it. And my cat's making it. Can you see
I
Phoebe?
want to see.
Can you
Oh
see
my
Phoebe?
goodness, which kitty is it?
Phoebe.
Oh, that's Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cats.
Phoebe cats. Um,
We love 80s movies, so Phoebe
yeah,
Cates. I
I
called
love
her
Phoebe.
Phoebe Cats.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. There was something else I was gonna say about it. Like, um, about who was oh I remember there was like an MTV show back in the day called like True Life, and they would have different things and people with disorders or whatever, and they had I live with OCD, and they had like three stories I think, but one of them was like really even hard to watch, and I remember it turned me off and it made me not want to, like, I was like, man, I don't want to, like, I remember the
Did
guy
it
with like,
trigger you?
oh, maybe, yeah. And before I like really knew that word was like,
Right. But like
really,
you were watching somebody else going through it and then it was giving you anxiety. Yeah.
yeah. I remember it's a guy like breathing. He had to like leave his house and he had to go like, and then open his door and then do it again. He'd have to do it like 10 times. And it was like hard to watch. He'd have to like open and close the door like a million times. And I would drive his girlfriend mad. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, I don't ever want to do that to anybody else. Like,
Yeah.
I better learn to, like, you're just training your mind, right? Like training your mind to like kind of think about other things or do other things, or, keep it occupied and not let it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what brings that shit on. And I hated it as a kid. I hated it because I feel like it did take away like time.
Did you keep it a secret from your friends? Like your
Yeah.
buddies in school?
Oh yeah, I didn't tell any of them. And then, I came out in junior high. Came out, but like I came out in junior high. I remember saying that I had it because I had just seen the movie As Good as It Gets, and Jack Nicholson has OCD in that film, and I like was obsessed with Jack Nicholson. So I remember like seeing that and be like, "Oh, this movie was made for me." I was in like ninth grade, and I
Yeah.
remember telling some kid at school, and fuck, his name is Brian something, and I did not like him, and he was like a jock, and he made fun of me and said, "I'm only saying that because I like Jack Nicholson," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm saying I have a disorder because I like I've had this going on, like this been going on for years, you piece of shit." Now I was like, "Hey, maybe like Jack's cool with it in a
We can
movie."
curse on my show and YouTube won't do anything about it. So could we just say fuck Brian, whatever your name is?
Yeah, yeah, fuck you.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
Brian.
so, and yeah, and I remember getting super pissed about that, and like, well, there goes like being open about it. Not that I needed to be, but it felt a little like, oh, I was getting older. And then I think it was after that I was like, fuck this. Kids in middle school are mean anyway, and I'm just gonna deal with it. And then I don't know if you grow out of it, or I mean, like I said, I still have it, but it's definitely have it more under control. I think I've seen a lot more. Yeah, I've read a lot about what Howie Mandel and Mark Summers and people that have dealt with it, and I'm just grateful it's not as crazy, or as, like, maybe that's the wrong term, just as intense
Yeah.
and, as it was, and I can maybe channel it into editing or writing or doing stuff like that. That at least being productive while if I have something, yeah. But
I have a question that do you think people with OCD are more prone to being collectors of stuff or hoarders or collectors? Well, I know hoarding is totally different, but like,
yeah,
do you think people with OCD are like collect things?
yeah, I think that's uh, uh,
Is it like kind of goes hand in hand?
it can.
Sometimes maybe.
I think it can for sure. I think that could be a form of it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I collect a lot of shit that I really don't need, and and my girlfriend's like, Aaron will be like, "Do you really need 25 Ric Flair figurines or whoever, whatever?"
Yes.
I'm like, I do, but I've gotten better at. I need every Razor Ramon one. I can get rid of the flares, but like, I'll go through those things, and then I'll get like, all right, I guess I only do need one, and I legitimately like take my time to like, weed shit out. But as I'm getting older and I want to make my own movies, I realize like that's the most important thing, not a couple copies of you know, like 3 copies of The Evil Dead. I love them, but I only need one.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to thin out my actual collection and get rid of shit because I need money to survive and make my own shit.
So you do you have so many cool like old VHS and collectible things and 80s kind of memorabilia stuff. Do you sell it online? Like, is that something that I can find on your Linktree or?
No, but I have been selling a lot of like I I moved here about 8 years ago, and I moved to Ohio from New York, and that's when I started selling tapes and realizing that there was some underground, tape trading, selling thing. A lot of tapes were rare, and I had a lot. I sold a lot of money. I paid rent for a couple of months on tapes and some DVDs that were just rare, and like I was saying earlier, um, just want to make my next movie, just want to take care of my kid. When you get to that point, your collecting starts to wean. And I mean, I haven't really bought myself a movie in a long time. Hold on, I'll show you the last movie I bought.
Okay.
I bought a couple films at conventions and stuff, which is cool. Like I love buying local shit. Like
Yeah.
that's my favorite stuff. Like
No,
local.
but so many of like the old VHS stuff, it's like some of the collectible stuff is just like so hard to find.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
did you
it's a weird
buy?
world. Well, okay, so uh look how thin and shitty this like release is. It's like paper.
Oh
It's
my
called
gosh.
Victim of Beauty, and it's got Jennifer Rubin and Sally Kellerman. I love Jennifer Rubin. She's amazing. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors
Sure.
and Bad Dreams. She was like the punk one. And so I saw this movie. I was at a store, and the guy that works there, like, knows he actually contributed to the Indiegogo for Thrust. Super nice dude, and he just gave me a nice discount. And I ended up, it was like $1.22, but they had another one, same thing. The cover is a little more damaged. That was priced at 24 cents. So I got that one, and then the discount.
Nice.
So I paid 6 fucking cents for this thing.
I love that. Oh my
That's the
God.
last movie I
That's
bought.
the bar. That is the bargain.
I was
I
like,
don't know
I
the
can
movie,
own
but
that.
I like Sally
It's
Kellerman too.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. I at
Fun.
the time I was like obsessed with Jennifer Rubin. I was like trying to see everything she was in, and directed by Paul Lynch. But yeah, it's for 6 cents. I was
For
like, I got
6 cents, you can't beat it. I love a bargain.
yeah, but I
Love
haven't
it.
bought any wrestling merchandise. It's like I work in the wrestling world now. I film a lot of it, so I look at it that way. Like it's cooler to be involved in a world that you grew up loving, and
Yeah.
to film Arn Anderson the other day, who was like in the Four Horsemen. And it's like didn't really hit me till it was happening. It was pretty wild. They got a promo and his entrance. I'm like, he's a fucking legend. Like a wrestling legend, and I'm like, and so like that's cooler to me than owning. I still have my like wrestling VHS tapes. That's hard to get rid of, but like I have like the big box Royal Rumble ones and the SummerSlam, the one with Macho Man got married to Elizabeth, uh, and I just love that shit. But yeah, collecting could have a hand with OCD, but I guess not every collector has
No.
OCD. But
Yeah.
like it could have like total correlation, about like holding on to stuff and like being completist and having to own like everything with this actor, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it
Interesting.
depends how you organize. And now my shit's not organized at all. It's not alphabetized. It's just random. I mean, 10 years ago, that shit would have been like,
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
I like keeping things color coordinated. That's my
Yeah,
thing.
it is fun. Actually. Yeah.
That's so cool. You should really meet. Have you heard of these guys on YouTube called the Ravens Flock?
No.
You would love these bros. They're so freaking funny. It's three guys and it's Wancho, Jose, and uh was it Wancho, Jose, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, but I know an angel, and they're like incredible nerds, and they have this show called The Ravens Flock, and one of them, like, all he does is like cover wrestling stuff, and
Oh
one of the
wow.
guys is into more like kind of like anime, and the other guy is into more like like Marvel movies and stuff like that. But they're really funny, and I find myself watching their live streams all the time, and I'm like,
Oh
I don't know what they're talking about, but my brother would know who all of these wrestlers are.
no. Yeah, I still can't.
I'll send you a link to the Ravens flock. They're funny
Yeah,
as
I'll
hell.
check that out. Yeah, I still love my wrestling. I just love it.
Yeah.
Favorite art form.
Well, we talked about OCD. We talked about a little bit of our family. I would, okay. So I would love for anyone watching this I am going to put your Linktree and all the information for Thrust in the description. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel. Um, do all the YouTubey things and support my brother and support me. But tell me a little bit, like, where are we right now with Thrust? Like, you started the film, what, a year and a half ago or a couple years ago?
Yeah, we started shooting in the end of July 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So about a
And now
year and
it's
a half.
playing all over. Every time I call you, you're like on the road to
It's
another
wild.
screening.
You
So
know,
great.
it's been like a few, but they've all felt like they meant something, Like every screening has been really fun and different crowds, different states, a drive-in, yeah, a convention,
So cool.
a local theater in Dayton, yeah, New York, in a cafe at a movie theater in New York. Um, and it's playing at Pittsburgh next. It's making its Pennsylvania premiere at the Harris Theater in Pittsburgh, which is I think it was like a porn theater in like the 70s. It's been a lot of different things, but it's badass and it's cool, and I can't wait for that. That's in January 7th. So if you're in Pennsylvania or near Pittsburgh, come out to that. And then Florida, it's playing December 4th at the Tampa Bay Underground Film Festival.
Wait, you're going to Tampa Bay?
I am,
No
yeah.
way. I have friends that live there.
Should tell
I
them to
will
come.
invite my friends in Tampa to go
Please.
and meet you and see the movie.
Yeah, Aaron will be there too, and a couple other people from the cast, I
Is it on
think.
the link tree? Is it something
Yeah,
that I
it
can just
is.
post
It
in this
is up there.
description? Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Like, I should go. When is it? December 4th? I might
December
have a
4th
little
is Sunday.
I
Yeah,
might have a little job, so I don't think I can go. I
yeah.
work.
No, it's coming up quick, and I found its flight for like one way, $58 and like 70 something coming back. I kind of jump on it. So I like going
Nice.
to festivals. They're fun. So Thrust is playing little screenings, conventions, one-offs at cool theaters. It might get into a couple other places we're waiting on. And then it comes out.
Can you give us the synopsis of Thrust for people, so if my friends in Tampa
Sure.
Bay want to come see it and my friends want to come see it?
Yeah. So
What
Thrust
is
is
Thrust?
anybody out there and watching, what is this, Out of the Closet?
It's in the closet.
In the Closet. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So for In the Closet, um,
Because
okay,
we're
so
out of
Thrust,
the closet.
yeah,
That's the whole
we're out of
point.
the closet. Right, right. Okay, so Thrust follows these two lovers, Aloe and Vera, and they are on a quest. They're living in a post-apocalyptic world that's run by girl gangs. There's like very few men left in the world, and most of them are just like slaves and to these different girl gangs. But now there's one piece of shit left, this last scumbag alive. His name is Dirtbag Mike, and he breaks out of like a mental institution. In a futuristic post-apocalyptic mental institution, everything. And he's on the run and he's just slicing and dicing and killing people, and he's a piece of shit, and he's like does disgusting things. And so they're aware of it, so they're on a quest now to kill him once and for all and get rid of the last scumbag around in the world. And they're trying to get help from the other gangs, and there's like a wrestling gang, there's There's like a just like a punk rock gang. There's a roller derby gang. There's a doctor gang, and there's all these different weird little underground. Oh, there's a hipster gang, the hipster sisters, and they're like the evil girl gang. So all girl gangs are cool, but you have to have still have to have a villain within there. Of course, it's the hipsters. So the hipster sisters are them, and I just worked with. There's so many amazing people in it. It was like a dream thing, and I'm glad it's out there, and I hope people dig it. It's really over the top. It's really got a lot of stuff in it. Not for kids. Um, I don't. Yeah,
You
I'd
said
say
a
come.
few people walked out, right?
Oh yeah, we had a bunch of walkouts in Dayton. At the premiere in Dayton, like a bunch of people walked out. A bunch, a handful, but still. I was like, did you not read the description? Like it was a sold out screening, but we sold their tickets, so they left, and then the lady resold those tickets to somebody
Good.
else that was sitting outside. So cool with me. Yeah, and Thrust is a long time coming, and it couldn't let it go. And the name came from your band that you were in at one time. And I remember being a kid and making Thrust T-shirts on with glue and glitter.
Right. The
Glue and glitter.
name Thrust originally comes from an all girl punk rock industrial metal core band that I was in with 7 other girls in the back in the day, New York City. But yeah.
And that's
I'm
where it
so
comes from.
happy people are seeing it. I still haven't seen the whole film in
Okay.
completion, but I got the DVD because I was one of your I guess not sponsor, but one of your
You
donors, one of your
contributed.
patrons.
Yes. Yes.
I always support you, always support your films. I've been in Victor's films. If you see my IMDb and you're like, I thought Amy was a costume designer, and then you're like, "Rah, rah, rah, plastic prostitute." What were all the roles?
Yeah.
I have been in my brother's films because I support him. I support my family 100%. I've played many different characters. And I like to make cameos in I played a church lady.
Yes.
I
A
played
singing church.
a
Yeah.
plastic surgery obsessed prostitute.
Yeah.
I played a transgender woman that was a gang leader, but in a film that
Yeah.
we hasn't been finished yet. Uh, but that was many, many years ago. It was like over 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Well, I wasn't really a transgender person. I guess it was like
It was a
um
non-binary.
yeah, it was like a non-bin. I guess, yeah. It was like a non-binary leader of a gang called the Fairy Tales, and it was
Yeah. But it
yeah,
was,
like
yeah, it was fun. My brother's films always have gore, violence, something feminist, something queer. It's
yeah,
a win-win for all. If you like
yeah.
gore,
No,
if you like
definitely all inclusive. Yeah, like
babes, if you like queer, if you like weird, if you like everything. It's like backyard kind of solid productions.
definitely. They're definitely backyard movies. Just we're grown up and we have better cameras now.
Yeah.
Like to play dress up, and I love it. Um, I love making movies, and it's cool to keep doing it with some of the same people too. And you were in LA, so you sent me some costume stuff for Thrust.
Oh yeah, there's some stuff from my in my closet in Thrust as well. Yeah, any way I can help, brother. Well, I'm excited. I'm bummed I can't go to Tampa because now I know and I have friends that live there and now I'm like, I want to go. But thanks for hanging out with me tonight and thanks for
Oh,
talking to everyone and talking to me and talking to us about, OCD and just, you know, just shows like your strength and how you are such a thoughtful person that you took this diagnosis and understood it yourself and you can see in your own life like where you've channeled that into positive things and and your own self-understanding. And that's not a lot of people get to that point. So you should be proud of yourself. I am.
Well, thank you. Your family, and you're going to say nice things, but I really appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah. No, you're awesome. So stay warm in Ohio.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Um,
watch. Don't
what are you
worry,
gonna
darling.
you're
After
gonna
this,
watch Don't Worry, Darling?
yeah, I'm gonna check that
Nice.
out. I've got
You know what I
recommended.
finished watching last night? I finished watching all of the curious Cabinet of Curiosities, the
Heard good.
Guillermo del Toro
Yeah,
shorts. It's
yeah, yeah. I
good.
heard it's really good.
It's
Yeah,
really
I do want to see that. And he's like handpicking different directors for like the
it's
movie.
I think 7 or 8 episodes. Maybe it's 8 episodes. They're good. And the
That's
last
really
one
good.
was really good. The last one was like the spooky like blanket up over your eyes like
Really?
good. Yeah. But
Okay.
I really liked watching that. And in October I watched a horror movie every day. I did
Nice.
like my 30 days of horror for Halloween.
Nice.
But
Perfect.
it's
Have you
November
seen
now.
Barbarian yet?
I did. I actually saw it in the movie theater with a buddy
Me
of
too.
mine.
Wow, I saw it twice.
Yeah, we saw it in the movie theater and you know the Alamo Draft House? Do they have one in Ohio?
No, we don't actually.
But you've heard of it. Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
they have one in downtown. It's called the Alamo Draft House. And when
Oh,
you come to LA, I gotta take you there. It's really fun. They have like,
yeah.
like they have a room with like Mrs. Pac-Man and like
Oh,
little like
nice.
video games and stuff. And it's all just very like super retro. And they're small theaters, but my friend and I went and we got there kind of late and had to sit in the front, but they're like big chairs that lay back. So it was
Huh.
fun. And we had drinks and popcorn. And I just love the monster in it. Like, I didn't like the movie that much, but now that it's like a month after seeing it, I'm like, you know what? I actually did like it.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's got. I saw it a second time and I liked it even more. It's got
Yeah.
weird rewatch value to it. Yeah.
I think the part, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Barbarian, but the like when it goes to the story with Justin Long, is that his name? The
Yeah.
actor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. Yeah. I actually did a review of the movie on
Oh,
Nerd Report on my friend's show Nerd Report, where he and I do some like out and abouts in LA and do some nerdy things. And he also has a channel called Nuke the Fridge,
hmm.
and which is I don't know if you know where that line is from. Do you know where that line is
No.
from? Nuke the Fridge. It's from Indiana Jones. But his show is called Nuke the Fridge, and we reviewed Barbarian, and it was really fun. Have you seen X and Pearl?
Okay. Now, I
Did you
did
see
not like
Pearl? Because
X.
I have not seen Pearl yet.
Liked Pearl. I did not like X at all. I'm not a Ty West fan. Most of his films I just think are anticlimactic, and I just don't get the huge appeal to him. And that I'm not trying to be a dick. I just never got it.
Sure.
And but I still go see his movies when they come out. I always support it. I go out and see it, and like maybe this will be the one. And I did not like X, but Pearl I really liked. I
I
thought
heard it was good.
it was good. I think a lot of it has to do with that she helped write it too, and she's like pretty amazing in it. Yeah, it's really good. I liked
I
it a
want to
lot.
see it. I want to see it. That's also playing at the Alamo. I don't go to movies that like never go to the movie theater really, but because I get screeners, like being in the guild, and I get digital
Oh,
screeners, and so I get to see all the movies before they come out. But it's definitely a very cool like downtown LA, like a 10-minute walking distance from me, and I like that you can like get a drink and sit back in the chairs and get tater tots and like enjoy the movie. So I think I'm gonna see Pearl there.
you should. It's worth it. It's not too long. It's just a good little movie. Yeah, and
Cool.
yeah, there's seen some decent stuff this year. I'm excited to watch Don't Worry, Darling tonight. I've heard
Oh my gosh.
polarizing.
Tell me if you like it. I haven't seen it
I
yet.
will. I
Tell
will.
me
I'll
if you
text
like
you
it.
right after. Yeah, it just went to HBO. I missed it in the theater, so I'm gonna watch it on that. And if you haven't seen Smile, that's really fun in the theaters too. It was. I thought it was gonna be super stupid and gimmicky, but it was kind of fun. It was
It's
kind of good.
spooky. It
I
was
liked it.
spooky. Yeah.
And I really liked Clerks 3. I went and saw that and I
I
really
did
enjoyed it.
not see that.
I loved it. I loved it. I cried so many times.
Oh my God. You cried.
Cried so many times. I was the only one in the theater. Only person in this theater. It was great. I got a big old thing of popcorn. I had to drive like
You were
35 minutes
the only one in the theater. The whole. Ah,
for
that's
Clerks 2.
so cool.
It was kind of cool. I sat in
That's
the
like
middle.
a cool experience.
It's like a private screening.
Wow,
Like
you're making me want to like now go to the movie theater. I'm
I
probably
love
going to
going to the
stay in
movies. It's my
tonight, but
favorite.
I like to go to the movies alone. But but also, or with a friend. But, um,
Oh,
all right, brother, we'll say goodbye to Phoebe, your kitty.
hey, bye, Phoebe.
Meow,
Say
meow.
bye.
Oh, she's cute. She's big now. She was
Very
just a
cute.
kitty.
Bye, Phoebe. She
So
is
cute.
calm. Got a favorite blanket out. She's awesome.
All right, bro. Well, thank you so much. And my viewers, thank you. And there's a fly. And there's a fly.
Throne
Um
comes out in February on Blu-ray.
okay, on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
Woo!
by a
Uh,
cool company. I don't know if I can name yet, so I'm going to play it safe and not name it.
okay, sounds good. All right. Well, I love you.
Love you too, Amy.
I'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you later.
Yeah.
Bye.